Hello and welcome to the 2.5 People podcast with myself, Alex Leam.
And James Beckett.
There we go.
I wasn't expecting you to do that at all.
What, host it?
Yeah, well,
sorry.
I thought you were going to do everyone's names and then bring it in properly. I didn't.
No, I'm announcing this. I was going to announce we're treating this as episode 1, seeing as the last time we did it, it was a shambles. But we're there again. Aren't we? That was really quickly going there to explain the premise. Because when we tried this last time, we didn't have a name for the podcast. But we are in the finest location we could possibly think of. Who needs a podcast studio free from loud banging and noise from downstairs when we're above a pub? That was a great idea when we thought of it. In practice, not so much. So we are upstairs at the Royal Standard in Derby, and we have decided to call the podcast the 2.5 People podcast because normally it will have us two, myself and James Beckett, who can't take direction. But also, the third person is George Coppin. The politically correct term is small person, I believe, but he doesn't mind. He always say that he's a dwarf. He's got dwarfism. But being December when we're recording this, he is, of course, in Panto.
Which Panto is he
Dick Whittington.
He's the cat.
He's the Dick. Yeah, that's right. So we're having a guest 0.5 person. They don't have to be small, and thankfully they're not. So please welcome for this edition, our guest is Anthony Williams. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
All good. All good. So to begin with, what has been happening recently, apart from us fudging the start, as usual, which is great. With yourself, James, we'll go with you. But we haven't got a point of reference if we're treating this as episode 1.
Earlier, I went to the tip. That was quite exciting. You know, the one that's over by like Losco.
Losco tip is
that's
a highlight of anyone. It's a cracking tip.
It's a good tip. Like, they've got 12 like spaces. They've got loads of spaces. Like, you barely have to queue. It's a really good tip.
I've been a regular there.
My top tip for tips is that's your tip.
Losco.
I do remember pre-lockdown they had a bit of a part where there was no cameras where you could go and have a word with them if you wanted to buy something.
Really?
They don't do that anymore. I've probably grassed somebody up saying this. It doesn't matter. No one's listening. So, yeah, there's a bit of does that TV still work? They'd point, and then some money exchange hands and you get another bargain. It's only really upcycling, and if it's ironically, they were being tipped.
Unfortunately, I just went to drop off loads of really light damp wood, which now has made my car smell of damp wood. So that's why I bought that little tree thing earlier. I want to pick you up.
Did you have to register for it now?
No.
Because I've heard, there's always somebody that starts a rumour. It's normally on one of these local Facebook group pages where it's like, oh, you've got to register before you go there now. I haven't been before. I don't think they're really red hot on admin.
I think isn't there like a rule? If you're a tradesman, if you're like a business, you're not supposed to go there.
I think you can register. I don't think they're enforcing it yet.
Yeah, but I think most people just go down there anyway. You know.
So the tip. Can you beat the tip, Anthony, for things we've been up to recently? Is there
anything
of note?
Recently,
yeah.
I've been working non-stop this month. It's been ridiculous. Obviously, I've got a day job because look where I am. But also, I've managed to have 25 gigs in 30 days this month, so I'm looking forward to a slightly quieter December.
What was the worst one of the month?
Last night.
Oh, right.
I wouldn't say worst, it was the most challenging. So I've just done a weekend at Hull Comedy Lounge, which is a great club, really good. Friday night was lovely. There was like 50 people in, all couples. It was really nice, lovely vibe, loads of fun. Last night there was 72 people in, of which 32 were a works do. And they were all at the front.
It begins.
Yeah, absolutely.
The most wonderful time of the year.
Yeah. Christmas tree was up. And, you know, it's not their fault. So works do. They want to see their mates and have a little bit of a chinwag and drink, mostly. So it was a bit bouncy. It was a little bit tricky, but we got through it. Oh, nice. And it was all good. Yeah.
When I did it, Lloyd Griffith was headlining, and he told the story. He's just said that Hull, apart from the setting of To Hull and Back, the Only Fools and Horses episode, that the other thing it's famous for is a murder that took place in the Hull Budget Holiday Inn. I thought, shit, that's where I'm staying tonight. So he described in great detail the murder and also said the room number, which they had to then change because a lot of morbid people are trying to book in to get that room to take place. So I got back quite late because a couple of the other acts went out afterwards, and clearly, I can't remember it, but clearly by the fact it was on my phone, I went and found the room to take a picture of it. The last digit they've scrubbed out, and do you know what they've done to renumber it? A green fuzzy felt number, which they've then stuck on. Yeah, to change the number of the room. So
that will make it completely not obvious.
Oh yeah, not obvious at all. It doesn't look suspect or like they're trying to hide anything.
And this was the cheaper version of the Holiday Inn. So this is the I believe
Express,
the Express by Holiday Inn. Where
okay. I'm only surprised there's only one room where someone's been murdered in a Holiday Express in Hull. To be honest,
that's true. There should have been at least a blue plaque of like telling you that some scenes from Only Fools and Horses were filmed here, but no.
What have you been up to anyway?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just suddenly realising that I think we're all at the time of life where we're doing dull things.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I've done anything of notes or of anything that's remotely interesting for the past
Sat in
month.
your house staring at the wall.
No.
Waiting for the next podcast to record.
Pretty much. The most exciting thing that's happened to me was a flu jab at Asda.
Flu jab at Asda.
Asda, yeah.
What, big Asda?
The big Asda in Langley Mill. Home.
That's a bit of a trip for you, isn't it? Out to Langley Mill.
All the way.
All the way from Ripley, Jesus.
It's practically the Riviera when you compare it to Ripley because it's got a canal. Langley Mill, Asda, it's also home to the world's most depressing train station.
Yes.
I maintain that.
It's
It's got 2 platforms and a sign for the Samaritans. That's it. That's all you get. But Langley Mill Asda, I went to the evening. I thought I'll just chance it, see if they got one left. They did one right there and then, and they said, "You're lucky. This is the last one." And that's as interesting as last month has been for me.
I'm shocked they're not doing them at the brand new farm foods you've got in Codner. There's a new farm foods on the corner. Yeah, it looks really nice.
A little insight into Derbyshire life.
I know. This is a very light niche podcast now. We're Amber Valley specific.
We're very excited about the fact that what used to be a pub has now turned into a farm foods.
It was also wasn't. I don't know if it was true, but while the pub was closed, wasn't it raided for human trafficking?
Yes, I heard that. There was something going on there. Some squatter using it for bad purposes.
Yeah. Those freezers are full of meat. That's all I'm saying.
The clues are there. A conspiracy theory on a podcast. Whatever next.
No,
whatever next. I can't remember the name of the pub that it used to be.
The French Horn.
That's it, French Horn. Because from when it closed to when it got demolished, one letter used to go missing every week from the French Horn sign. So it was the Freccar for a while, and at the end it was just the F. That was it.
The F.
Yeah, the F. The last time I was in the F was New Year's Eve 2018, and there's no politically correct way of describing how awful the entertainment they had on. A very obvious lesbian doing a cover of Bob Marley, whilst affecting a Jamaican accent, even though she was white.
Wow.
It was the most mind-boggling, non-PC thing that I've ever seen in my life, and I thought, I just want to make sure I'm doing something other than being Codner on New Year's Eve from then on.
I mean, that is the most Codner thing.
That is very, very Codner. It wasn't even a good attempt at the accent. I just think, I'm offended, I'm not even remotely French.
You on New Year's Eve?
You'd have to be careful it wasn't too authentic, otherwise they would have kicked her out of Codner.
That's true. That is true.
Well, it raises
it's a good job there's no roundabouts.
It raises some questions about yourself, Alex. Like, who makes that optional choice on a New Year's Eve? You go, hey, you know what? I'm going to go out to Codner tonight.
The world's my oyster. Where shall I go? Oh, hello, Codner.
There was somebody I was dating at the time. She lived in Codner and just went, are you about tonight? I said, yeah, I'm actually. Do you fancy drinks? But it's walking distance. What's the worst that could happen? Lesbian reggae. That's what happened.
There you go.
Yeah. Lesbian reggae. So, now that we've discovered that we are all, frankly, dull middle-aged men, let's move on to our next part, Speedy Pet Peeves. Mm-hmm. So this is where we fire off at what's going to be our guest 0.5 person in the meantime. the things that really grind your gears, possibly, could be unique to you. Let's get them all out in the open. Treat this as therapy, if you like. So it can be as niche as you like or as relatable as you like. So name as many pet peeves or things that annoy you as possible, Anthony. So away you go. What's top of your list? What bubbles?
Top of the list, because we spend so much time on the road, top of my list is two things. Is one, why do motorways have to get closed every Saturday night for no reason? Why do I have to do 50 miles an hour when I'm the only car on the motorway at midnight on a Saturday coming back from Hull? And related to that, people who don't understand how lanes work on motorways. Like there's so many stretches of 4-lane motorways in this country where someone will just sit in the third lane.
Third lane, yeah, that's the place to be.
It's not even, they're not even middle lane hoggers anymore because they've made it an even number. They've gone for the worst. They're in the third. It really, really annoys me. And like the other thing also related is road rage. I hate road rages. Right. I was driving to Leicester recently for a gig. Now, there's a little junction in Leicester where you go over some bridge, it's called like the Mountford Bridge or something like that. And it's really tricky because to get over it from my direction, you have to get over 3 lanes. Right? So you've got to get from the very left lane to the very right lane in a stretch of about 100 metres. Really hard. So you're trying to wiggle your way in, right? And I inadvertently cut off this guy and he proper lost his shit. And it's like, you know what I'm trying to do here. I'm not trying to annoy you. But then he wouldn't let it go, right? So the whole of the rest of the journey, which is only like 10 minutes into the city centre, he's like right at my backside, he's flashing his lights, he's beeping his horn. I'm like, let it go, move on. Anyway, long story short, I followed him around and killed his cat.
He had it coming, really. Do you think people on the road are getting more and more aggressive now?
I think they are. I think this is not a conspiracy theory, but I think people have forgotten how to behave since COVID. I feel like we locked everyone away for a few months and they've all forgotten how to function in society. Because we see it, you see it on the road, you see it at gigs, people have forgotten how to behave. They can't manage to shut up for 20 minutes or go to the toilet during a break. It's just like everything's individual.
Yeah. I think a lot of time locked away, freely expressing your opinion online. I think that's seeped in a bit.
As well. That's and obviously the algorithms just feed back things to either justify your position or show you more stuff to annoy you.
I've noticed being a bus wanker, there is a lot of road rage more directed at buses now. That's gotten worse. People either like speeding around like, how dare you get in my way, and then people as they go past, or just generally being divs. So,
have you ever done a speed awareness course?
I've done many.
Yeah. I did only one. It was during COVID, so I didn't have to go anywhere. I had to do it.
So I did a couple at the Derby Conference Centre where the Derby Comedy Club is. I did one there, and that was interesting because I think there was 15 people in the group and 14 had all been done on the 50-mile stretch on Rainsway. It was like, again, why does that have to be 50? It's a fast road.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did a motorway one recently, and it was actually quite interesting. It was all right, and that was online. Yeah. So it was okay.
I'm like, the average speed check is frustrating, but I kind of get it because it works. You know what I mean? Like when it used to be the old days of like speed cameras where you just absolutely gun it and just trying to keep an eye out from a speed camera and slamming it down. Yeah. Whereas you can't really trick the average speed check. No. You know what I mean? Like you just got to do it, as annoying as it is.
Yeah. I remember when they first came in, like it was about 20 odd years ago. I was working in Nottingham at the time, and the stretch of the I think it's still the A610, isn't it? As you go where the new dinosaur golf thing is, right across there. They put average speed cameras in there and it's 30. And a guy I worked with lost his licence in one day.
Really?
Yeah, he got 12 points in a day on that same stretch.
That's incredible. I've always thought, because I remember when they used to put them in, I remember they had the one on like northbound M1 just coming off the A38 for years when I first started driving. And I always used to think, like, why did they like just put the whole 20-mile stretch of it into that kind of speed check where they're only working on the last mile?
I know.
And you're sitting there going, like, surely, I know maybe it's it's more like cost effective to do it that way over the whole length of the project, but surely slowing all the traffic down and all the cars that are going through there, surely surely that comes at a cost as well. And it's just like, I never understood why you wouldn't just sort of like do your roadworks sweeping across the road over like a 2 to 3 mile stretch that moves across. This is fucking boring.
Well, speaking as a bus wanker, I'm thankfully I've not been privy to a lot of that. There is some uniquely, I rely on public transport ones though that do grind my gears. There is a growing trend. Now, you would have thought this had been years ago because they've been doing it on The Apprentice for ages.
Yeah.
Talking to someone on speakerphone, that's irritating. Also, there's the listening to their music on speaker.
Yeah.
That's growing a heck of a lot. And yeah, just generally a lot of people are scum. At least in a car, you are on your own.
What's your bus strategy? Where's like, so what's your bus strategy? Are you at the
bus strategy?
Yeah, everyone's got a strategy, right? When they get on the bus, are you at the front? Are you keen as a bee? Are you in the middle? Trying to find your ground? Are you at the back being a bad boy? Like, what are you about?
I've just realised I've got a preferred space.
Yeah, you do. Everyone's got a bus strategy.
So the H1 is my normal one. That's the main route from right outside my house into Derby.
Right.
That's a really loud bike.
Yeah.
Okay. We can't say it because there's condensation. I'm fighting the urge to draw a knob on this window. So there is a seat that's just before you go up to that back level.
Yeah.
That's near the emergency exit because you've got more leg room. And if you're going somewhere with a suitcase or anything, you can then park your case in front of you. So that's a preferred one, and I'm not happy if someone else is sat there. I don't like to sit just above the lip because that's the part where they have those. A lot of the buses have got them now, that sort of desk bit with a wireless charger, which is useless because it's got no sort of like shock absorbent on there. So you go over a pothole or something,
and it just your phone falls off.
And somebody's shoved paper into the USB charging port and tried to rip the stuff off because some people just want the world burn rather than actually be useful. So, do you remember the rock and roll days? Because I don't.
Well, how about you, Anthony? What's your strategy for the bus? Are you seem like a back of the bus? That feels like a Rosa Parks reference.
I do sit near the back of the bus, not on the very back row, because I don't think like.
Again,
you get a lot of movement on the back row.
Leg room on the back row of H1 is not great.
It's not great.
We're at the age now we've got to think of knees.
But speaking of the H1, I want to know how many people have taken them up on the no quibble guarantee, because I feel so on Trent Barton buses, right? They have this no quibble guarantee where if for any reason, quote unquote, you didn't enjoy your journey, and who would enjoy a journey from Hena to Derby, right? That feels like a too high a bar to set. Endure is probably a better. But apparently, you can just ask the driver, and they will just instantly give you a refund. I want to know who does that. And how does that work? Like, what's the reaction? Does the driver just be like, fair enough? Or would he be like, what the hell? Yeah. This is a bus ride. I got you from A to B. You didn't die. What more do you want?
So we want to put it to the test now,
The bus equivalent of, I came, what's your problem?
Exactly. I really like you'll be getting the H1 later, won't you? So you can give it a go.
No, I won't. No. It's worse than that because in Derby on a Sunday, the time and place where we are now, they don't run after 9 o'clock at night.
Oh no!
Because they think nobody wants to come here after 9 o'clock on a Sunday.
I mean, to be
they're right. Nowhere's open.
No one wants to come in before 9
o'clock. No. So I've got to get the 9s. So that goes via Ripley. If I'm busing back.
That's not a good bus. Like the H1's a good bus, but
the H1 is a good bus.
That is a good bus. Fair.
See, I think that because we're all kind of there, I think living in Hena, right, is the perfect place, right? Because you've got the H1 to Derby, you've got the R1 into Nottingham. They're both good. Like it's for public transport in the Notts Derby area. I think Hena is the epicentre.
I love the fact that the best selling point of Hena is like how to get out of it.
Yeah, it has to be. The best thing about living in Hena
it's just a shame about the
easy it is to get away from Hena.
Oddly enough, back when I lived in Bournemouth, the route I used to take into work out to walk past a Thomas Cook, and they had a special board for coach trips in the window, and they all followed the same format. They were still printing stuff out in those days, so the format was location, price, and a bullet point with 2 selling points of where you're going. So there was like all the typical sort of towns, lots of like Bath, London, stuff like that. And one day I saw one for Derby, and the 2 selling points were close to Nottingham, close to Alton Towers.
Yep.
That was it. That was it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, I would think the top 10 reasons for visiting Derby, 8 of them are probably not Derby.
Yeah.
It's close to better things.
It's being close to great
Yeah.
places.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the transport links are pretty easy to get out. Yeah.
Oh, there's been another. I think there's another second poll that's come out of like worst places to visit for a city break, and it's come top of the list.
I can see that though,
again.
because in terms of like all the UK like cities, like Derby's a bleak. In terms of like cities, if you were to add in all the towns in there, it would have a fair shot. But if you're going against all the cities, I can see why it would be.
I think you've got like in Derby, you've got Bakewell, Buxton, Belper, all the bees.
Yeah.
A lot of other places which are far more, historic, scenic.
As far as I can tell, Derbyshire is unique in that it's the only county where the county down is the shittest part of the county. I think Derbyshire is a fabulous place. Derby is by far the worst part of Derbyshire.
The whole of Derbyshire.
We like Yorkshire. York's lovely.
Yeah.
Right? Lancashire, Lancaster's really nice. Even Leicester is all right.
Yeah.
Right?
Nottingham. Nottingham.
Derby, no, it's just
the worst bit of it all. Yeah,
the worst bit of Derbyshire.
And most of the good stuff, the historic stuff, has been bulldozed.
Yeah.
And completely totaled.
Pink coconut.
Yes, now that's historic. That was historic. That's where Valiant is now, isn't it?
And all the student flats. Yeah.
Ah, yes, we need more of them. As a fellow Derby alum from back in the day, are you slightly jealous of how plush halls of residence look now compared
mine was
to
really
when...
bleak. It was very like breeze blocky. My
Yeah. I mean, we were
20 years ago.
lucky to have an ensuite because that was a fairly new.
I was in Peak Court. I was one of the first ones that had an ensuite. It was great. It was great because it was like a wet room in the corner, and it was the only place I've ever like lived where you could sit on the toilet and you can move the shower head and you could sit on the toilet, and have a shower at the same time. Honestly, I appreciated that so much.
Efficiency. Right.
I think like as a student as well, like all the hangovers, it was beautiful.
See, you guys don't know you're born. Like when I went to university, I didn't even go to university really, only by proxy. I studied in Blackpool. Right? So
I didn't even know they had a university.
Well, so here's how it goes, right? So I did my A-levels, failed spectacularly. I got a B in general studies. That was the height of my academia.
General studies?
Yeah, if you don't know what general studies is, it's basically like a pub quiz. That's it, basically.
You were pub quizzing.
Yeah, so I got an A-level in pub quizzing. And I got sat down in a little room with my careers teacher, and he basically gave me a list of colleges that had places in alphabetical order. So that's why I ended up in Blackpool, was because Aberdeen and Aberystwyth were already full. So I ended up doing an HND in hotel and catering. While I was in my first year, the college, Blackpool and the Fylde College, then became an associate college of Lancaster University. So I managed to go from failing my A-levels to getting a degree from Lancaster in 4 years.
Nice.
I visited Lancaster once. That was to register for my library card, and that was it. But we didn't have to, there was no student accommodation in Blackpool because obviously it's a tourist place.
Yeah.
And the students are there while the tourists aren't. We were all in holiday flats, so I lived in like a room with. Did you know that I didn't even know they existed until I got there? But the beds that fold down from the wall.
Oh yeah.
We had those because the rooms were that small.
Yeah.
I could literally sit in bed and cook my tea.
Yeah.
Right? It was like that. It was shared bathrooms. They weren't like that. I remember one of the early lectures was talking about Blackpool hoteliers and the trends that they were looking at. And my lecturer had hosted a seminar for local businesses. And this guy was saying, yeah, you know what we want to get into in Blackpool, we ain't got any of these, is we need to have more of them hen suits. And the lecturer was like, "What is that? Is this for the stag and hen market? Like you supply hen suits?" He meant en suites, but them hen suits. We need more hen suits in Blackpool. So I never experienced student halls, anything like that. We didn't have a student union either because it was Blackpool. What we did have at the time, it's probably not the same now. the industry's changed, but we did have in Blackpool, in 1 square mile in Blackpool when I was there in the early 90s, over 1,000 pubs and 26 nightclubs. So obviously in the winter, no tourists. Everywhere had student offers on. When I started college in 1992, there was a bar called Down the Hatch, which was underneath one of the big hotels. It was 70p a pint in there.
You know what? It's not that far because we were doing university in the early noughties. That's where we were, early noughties. And I remember even the Friary on the Monday nights they used to do like £1 a pint.
It only gone up by 30p in 10 years.
Yeah,
which is not bad.
It wasn't bad, but
really.
But yeah, you wouldn't see anything like that. I mean, even the company that I know, like they do like £3 a pint, and that's like a proper. Oh, that's cheap, £3 a pint. And there's that place in Ripley that you know about, isn't there? Like the Pound.
Oh God, the Pound pub.
Yeah.
Oh, in Ripley,
yes.
That just decided that they're going to brand themselves like a bakery.
Yeah.
It looks like the Pound Bakery, but it's the Pound pub. Have you ever been in?
No, it sounds so dreadful. I want to try it.
I know. I'm in the same boat. It's like how.
I think we should do like a special episode for the Pound Pub. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
We'd need to mash up like when the Blues Brothers were playing that country bell, just to stop us being bottled for the Pound Pub. So your general studies, which you say was a bit like a pub quiz, you have actually been on TV quizzes though.
I have, yeah.
Haven't you? So tell us about your TV quizzes.
I've been on 3 TV quizzes. So the first one I did was a show that nobody remembers watching. It only ran for 1 season, but it was actually a really good format. It was called The Code. And the idea was that the prize money was in a safe, and there was a 3-digit code to get in. So every time you got a question right, and this was a pairs game, so it's really, I went on with a mate of mine who we podcast together. Every time you got a question right, you got to pick a number. Okay, so if you think about the odds of that, right, you could potentially win the jackpot in 3 questions if you're really lucky. If you're not lucky, it will take you like 9 to get the first number, right? And me and Michael went on and we answered the most possible questions it is possible to do without winning. It was incredible. And we were really good. And it was a really nice format. The questions were formatted so that there was like a clue to what the answer was going to be. So you could pick the order of questions. So for example, like there was one, I remember this really vividly. One was, the answer was ants. And I just went, we should choose that, Michael, because it will be, what's the other name for a snow leopard?
Yeah.
And the host was like, are you insane? And then it went, what is an alternative name for a snow leopard? And I was like, yep, that's the correct answer. Because it was like, they gave you the answer and you had to pick the right question.
It's probably why I only ran for film. 1 season, because I saw you cheating.
And then there was another one that, the answer was Nothing Else Matters. And I was like, well, that's a Metallica song. It's the Black Album, 1991. And that turned out to be the answer. So we were phenomenal as a pair, but we were just unlucky as possible. We didn't get the number right. And then eventually... We got, so it was basically you kept going until you get a question wrong. So we answered a lot of questions right, didn't get the prize, and then eventually we got the question wrong. But it was a nice experience. So that was the first one I did. Second one I did was probably the most fun. I did 15 to 1.
Oh right, yeah.
With the reboot with Sandy Toksvig, and that was up in Glasgow. So that started with me getting the train to Glasgow, and that was the scariest experience I've ever had in my life. That was a Saturday tea time. Getting the train to Glasgow, and you name it, the cliches. There was genuinely a man drinking Tennent's Extra wearing a kilt on that train. I'm not even making that up. So we got there, and what I liked about that format is that you get 3 shots at that. So you do 3 shows unless you get to the final. If you get to the final, that's your last show. So first show I did, I think I came 7th, something like that. Second show I did, I came 5th. Third show, I got to the final and coming 3rd. But the great thing about that was they put us up in a really nice hotel in Glasgow. And we did 2 shows, and then they were like, "Oh, we don't film on Sunday, so you get a whole day in Glasgow."
Nice.
And then we filmed on Monday, which would always have been my last show because you could only ever do 3. And I made the final on my 3rd, so it was quite nice. So other than winning, that was a really, really nice experience. And I still speak to people that I did that show with, so that was really nice. And then the most recent, although it's still quite a while ago, I did The Chase.
Oh, nice.
That was good fun. And so Michael, who I mentioned before, who I did the code with, had also done the chase, but he did the chase about a year before me. Mm-hmm. He got $9,000 in his cash builder and then didn't make it back to the final, got knocked out of the table. So I always had in my head, like, when I go on, I've got to do better than Michael, right? Because he's my podcaster, he's my quiz partner. So I get 9 in the cash builder.
Nice.
And I'm going, oh, this is really funny. I've got 9. Got the same. All I've got to do is get back.
Yeah.
And I've beat him, right? I didn't get back.
Oh,
so I started really well. I got all the way down to the last one. And then I started getting them wrong. I was against the Vixen, Jenny Ryan, and she's getting closer and closer and closer and closer. And then it came down to that one question shootout. And the annoying thing is, if I'd not been under time pressure, I would 100% have worked out the right answer. But under pressure...
Yeah. I've always thought that when you're watching TV shows, you sit there and go, it must be so easy to know the answer at home. But imagine when you're there and all the lights and all the cameras and all the crew there and that.
I noticed this first on 15 to 1, but also on the chase, is your brain, when it finds an answer, it stops thinking. Yeah. So it doesn't go, oh, there's an answer, but keep thinking because there might be a better answer. It goes, answer. Yeah. And you just immediately come out with it. So I lost out on... I'll test it out with you guys, right? So if you remember, because I remember the question. So the question was, when the Football League was first formed, which is in like the 1880s, something like that, how many London-based clubs were in the original Football League? And the answers were 0, 1 or 2.
I'll go 0.
I'll go 2.
So I went 1. Right. It is 0.
Right, nice.
Now, the reason I should have known that is I'm a big rugby league fan. And the reason there's 0 is for the exact same reason that rugby league was formed, is that in order to play football professionally, you'd have to take time off work, right? Which is not an issue if you're in London because you're rich in the 1880s. In the north, you need to be professionalised, right? So I should have figured it out because it's exactly the same reason that the rugby football league was formed. So it's annoying.
Forget there was a time when footballers were basically like comedians; they needed a day job to support
them. Exactly that, and that's why sport went professional was to pay people when they weren't down the mines or in the factories or whatever. So I've done 3 TV quizzes and won absolutely no money whatsoever.
Nice. Well, not so much.
No, not nice. That's bad.
Well, is there any shows that you'd want to do?
I'd like to do Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Yeah, that was just for the high money, right?
Yeah. Because I think any decent quizzer, and I would say I'm a reasonable quizzer.
Yeah.
I think any decent quizzer has a bloody good chance of winning 32 grand on that show.
Which is a good chance.
Which on any other show, you'd be like, if 32 grand was a jackpot, you would be delighted. Yeah. Right? So I think if you're realistic and go on there and go, right, if I can hit 32 grand, I've won. Yeah, I'd love to do that. But I like the format sometimes. If there's an interesting format, I'd definitely be up for doing it.
How about you, Alex? Would you like to any shows in particular?
I know for a fact I'd definitely not want to do Pointless, just because the jackpots are laughable.
Oh, it's awful.
It's absolutely terrible. It's like, join us next time for a roll of a jackpot of £250. Yeah. So, that's how it feels when you compare it to like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or £9,000 for your cash builder, and you get like 1,250. But people that love Pointless, they're fanatical about it.
Yeah. I love the format. I think the format's great.
I'd want to do Deal or No Deal, but only if Stephen Mulhern is not on it.
Oh, okay.
Because
doing shows that Stephen Mulhern is not on would limit your choices.
It would. I only think that he keeps being employed by ITV because he's got some dirt on the controller. He must have, because he's. What put me off is when they announced it was coming back. So they had him with one of the boxers. It was one of the Channel 4 style boxers, and he went, "I'm really looking forward to hosting this. I used to watch it all the time growing up." So I looked up his age to find out that when the first episode of Deal or No Deal with Noel Edmonds aired, he was 23, already an adult. I think you are as false as fuck. You are terrible. And also the jackpot's lower. It used to be £250,000. It's now £100,000. So
There's a lot of bollocks on Deal or No Deal as well. Because like, if it truly is random, why are you trying to figure out what's in the box? That's literally not what random means. Just pick a number
or a system or something like that. It's
I don't like kind of look. I don't like the kind of like faux like psychology around it, or like I'm getting a really good feeling about this box and all that kind of stuff. You're like it's just random. Fuck off.
Just plays on gamblers.
I'd like someone to go on and they go, right, what's the first box? And they go 1.
Just go through systematically.
Let's see if the banker figures out my system.
It's mad. Like I think I'd want to go on the Crystal Maze.
Would you?
Yeah, because if it's not from a price point of view, just because I remember just kind of watching that as a kid in like the late 80s, early 90s, and just being like, that looks so much fun.
What did you make of Richard Iwardi?
You know what? I never watched it with Richard Iwardi. I only remember it from what was the chap who used to do it?
Richard O'Brien, and then Ed Tudorpole.
Of course, Ed Tudorpole.
Yeah.
100,000 men.
Who was underrated, I think.
It's
just that he followed Richard O'Brien. It was the GOAT.
Yeah.
So I'd want it if it was Richard O'Brien, and also if they brought back Ocean. Just because
Ocean's Ocean.
Yeah, I just think that somebody's shouting on the street.
Yeah,
it's
Derby.
Welcome to Derby.
Let me just have a shout. Let's have a look through the conversation. Make sure I hate crimes. That's okay. We're good. They really made it look like it was an underwater cruise ship. I just thought it was brilliant. So why they didn't bring that back, I don't know. And also the new one, they sort of like flick-flacked with which zones they go in between. I think, no, you need that route.
Always wondered how elaborate the set design and the thing was. Obviously, like you obviously saw them transitioning and stuff like that, but how much of that set was purpose built in that square thing that you saw?
It was
just broken into kind of like segments and it's all done in post?
It was a set that they went through. I just remember that when the old one where they were trying to get into medieval, they had to walk over this pole and there was like water, and then these what looked like jagged sticks going through, but somebody fell off and it went down, and so I was like, it's foam. I feel like I've been cheated.
It's one of these things though, as much as it sounded like a great idea to go, let's go on the Crystal Maze, like when you actually watch it, I remember watching it once going, I'd love it, but also it looks so fucking stressful, you know, like you're in a room, you've got like 60 seconds to swim over and get a fucking like boomerang or something whilst like 12 people scream at you from the other side of the room. It's like, God, like actually, is it actually fun or does it look fun?
I don't know what the prizes were in the rib. I can't remember, but the original ones, which where Richard O'Brien used to take the mickey out of, it was all sort of like team building, sort of like away days. That was your prize. That sort of thing. Because he used to say that these people will be battling it out to win something quite mediocre.
Toaster.
No, a toaster would have been better. At least that would last. I don't want to see these people again or go raft building with them someplace. Anyway, so Crystal Maze ranted. On to our next pre-written. We've pre-done things. I don't know. So this is the big questions. So we have 2 big questions of the week, and we will ask these about and see where we stand on these hot topics. So the first big question. Are you okay? I've just read these. Are you sure you're all right? Yeah, they're fine. Okay then. If you had to replace your hands with kitchen utensils, which ones would you use and why? I would say a silicone fish slice.
Silicone, what's that then?
So it's just a flat thing.
Right.
So that can be used for a multitude of things in the kitchen, and it's silicone as well, so it's quite bendy. A lot of applications elsewhere. You could fan yourself. That's one thing that you would want to do with your hands. Also, I would imagine you could use it for foreplay.
Okay.
Single, Alex.
I am actually. Funnily enough, also divorced. It's a mystery, isn't it? So I would go for silicone fish slice. How about yourself?
I think the thing you'd have to contend with is you got to think about other thumbs. Is there anything you can do to replicate a thumb? I think the closest you get is a garlic press or something. Tongs would be much,
Or if you're really skilled, a can opener. I sense I've lost the room.
I feel like can opener's not got an awful lot of sort of utilitarian. It does one job very well. But that's about it.
But at least you can use it as an opposable thumb.
I can't remember the last time I used a can opener because most cans got a ring pull on there, haven't they?
Things are really moving.
Not the way I shop.
not at Farm Foods.
Farm Foods corner.
That's a whole 5 pence difference if you're willing to open the can yourself. Which is, I can't argue with those prices.
Do you remember when it used to be quite a thing to get those like electric light can openers, like in the 90s, where you get a can and put and press the button on the top and it will do a little turn. And they were always great in principle, but I always remember that my mum used to do. She used to push them in, clock it in, and press it in, but there'd be nothing to catch it after it was done. So every time you use it, you just get beans everywhere. So yeah.
Or a bit of tuna, that would be a bad one. It's a small tin, isn't it?
You definitely want you definitely want one of your hands to be a tongue or something to grab. You're right. And then I don't know. The other hand, you can kind of either choose it if you want it to attack or if you want it to support. I don't know.
I feel like one of my hands would be a pizza slice.
You could do both hands.
It'd
be like a wheelbarrow.
So like the rolling slicer thingy
the sharp sort of circular. Right. I've seen a lot of life hack TikToks recently. You can use a pizza slice to cut anything. Right. I don't know why we limit ourselves so much. Why are we living in the 19th century with knives when you've got pizza
so you've got one hand that's a pizza slicer. What would the other hand be then?
I feel like it would have to be tongs.
Tongs and a pizza slicer.
Because that's the only way you can get things out of the air fryer, which is basically how I live these days. We all do, let's be honest. I can't remember the last time I cooked something that wasn't in the air fryer.
No, that's true. No.
So you've got a silicon fish knife in one hand. What's the other hand doing?
No, I'm just still picturing the air fryer. Just thinking that it's the modern equivalent of driving an EV. Yeah, because you thinking petrol? No, it costs far too much. I'm a convert now. So your oven is like a petrol gas guzzler. That's like the EV. I'd just go for 2 silicon fish slicers.
Just 2,
because then you could clap like a seal.
You could, yeah.
Okay. Next big question. Again, James, were you okay when you wrote this? They're fine. Okay. What is the best queue you've ever taken part in? Now, I don't really rank the queues that I've been in.
You should.
They should. I mean, the fun, the queue that builds anticipation, I think, is either ride at a theme park or the queue to check your bag in just before you go on holiday.
So those are pretty satisfying.
They're good queues.
Yeah,
can be.
Yeah, they can be. Yeah, unless you're stuck behind somebody irritating on both counts. Is there a queue that is better than that? A memorable queue?
So I worked at a theme park.
Oh, which one?
Well, guess.
American Adventure?
Of course.
I
worked at the American Adventure. So I've seen many a good queue. I love that. Was genuinely the best job I ever had. It was also the worst job. It was the first job I ever had, which is kind of
Freudian slip.
What a way to start your career! Like start up here. This is awesome.
All downhill.
I can't wait for my life to pan out, and then spend your whole life going. Yeah, it's not as nice as when I worked at the American Adventure. I had a great time working at the American Adventure. So I did a few jobs. I think I did 3 or 4 seasons there. Started when I was like 17. So the first job I had, I was looking after ride photography on the log flume. And at the time, I would say that it was probably the best log flume in the country. It was the highest 2-drop log flume.
Is that the Nightmare Niagara?
Yeah.
Yes.
What is it that qualifies a really good log flume?
So it's multiple drop. That's good, right? But the second drop was quite
a meaty drop.
Yeah, it was a proper good drop, and that's where the camera was. Right now, this is 1990, probably 1990, something like that. So it was old school. It was proper film back in those days. So our job was we would have to climb up the ladder to where the camera was. You had to put a bag over the camera, take the film out, so obviously it didn't get exposed. And then you'd have to put the new film back in, all just from feel, and then sync it up so that the numbers were right, so that the person giving the tickets matched up with the frames, all of which was far too much to expect on someone on £3 an hour at the age of 17. So if anybody did go to the American Adventure in the early 90s and got a picture of a random Vietnamese family instead of theirs, I'm sorry.
I bet you're not though.
We weren't paid enough to pay that kind of attention. So that was my first job there, and then I moved on to the Missile. Do you remember the Missile roller coaster? Again, really, really good ride. The unfortunate thing about that was there was 2 options to go and change the film. You could either come out of the little cabin you were, walk all the way around, up where the guests would queue up, onto the platform, up a ladder, and go and change the film there. Or you could go out of the cabin, jump over the fence and do it that way. Unfortunately, jumping over the fence meant that your trailing leg would almost inevitably hit the emergency stop, which I did many times. So again, apologies for anybody who got stuck halfway around the missile and thought it was due to a mechanical breakdown. It wasn't. It was me being a twat. So I did that for a couple of years, and then I worked in the bar. That was the best, right? So
not as many queues at the bar.
No. Although weirdly, even back then, like people queue at a bar now, don't they? In Wetherspoons, that people queued back then, and I think it was just because they were programmed into it.
Yeah, because you're at a theme park, so you feel obliged
so
to.
They would queue up, but that was awesome because it was fine doing as a job. That was great. But on a Sunday, when the park closed, we'd then reopen it for staff drinks, and it was £1 a pint, except for the last Sunday of the season when it was 50p a pint, only we never told anybody. So you made an absolute fortune at the end of the season. But it was just a really nice place to work, right? They had do you remember the Silver City, like the sort of Wild Westy place?
Oh yeah.
So it was like a full, like a little mini town, right? They had like bars and shops, but in the middle was a Wild West street, and they used to do reenactments. So there'd be like actual stuntmen on horseback, and they'd like jump from the top of the buildings. There was a sheriff and everything. It was really, really good. And me and my mate Ryan, I probably shouldn't use his real name, Ryan McMaster, we got pissed one night, and we decided we were going to reenact the shootout based on having vaguely seen it happen while we were working, but being fueled by 7 pints of Stella.
Nice.
We decided that we would do it because we'd figure out where the crash mats were. So we were jumping off the buildings. We got caught, and it led to what I still think is the greatest HR decision of all time, which is that Ryan got a final written warning for, and I quote, horseplay in Silver City. And I got a broken shoulder blade. It was good. It was great. Fun times. Honestly though, it was the best. I mean, have you ever had a job where on your day off you'd go in anyway?
Yeah,
that's the sign of a good job, right? Because we got free entry, and obviously you knew everybody, so you didn't get charged for food and drink and all the rest of it. Honestly, it was the most fun I ever had, whilst also getting paid, and also still living with my parents, so it was all straight in the back pocket. It was good.
It's weird, isn't it? Actually, like the thing you were saying earlier about obviously that you work behind the bar, and obviously people used to queue there. I do find it a real contradiction, like us as British people, that in one hand we're really proud of ourselves being really good queuers, but when it comes to pubs, like it's every man for himself.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's a complete contradiction.
Yeah, it is weird. I don't know if I like it that we got queued, because having worked in bars for a long time, you used to be, if you work behind a bar, you pride yourself in knowing who's next, right?
Yeah.
And having a little bit of optionality about that. If someone's a dick, you can
someone's
make them wait.
Yeah, go around with it.
That's great. That's good. Whereas when it's a queue, it just makes the whole thing a lot more transactional, I think, But hey, life moves on.
The most interesting queue I've had was the queue for the one and only time I went to Wimbledon.
Ooh, nice.
Which I was living there at the time, so I sort of felt obliged to go. It was on the slacker days, and it still snaked around past 2 postcodes that was that long. But they had, at regular intervals, this was sort of indicative of the time, Wii tennis set up to entertain yourselves with, and various concession stands. So it was it was almost like that was the fun part, the queue. Then you get inside and think, what actually do I do now? Because unless you've got tickets for centre court, which is a heck of a lot more, you just either sit on a hill and watch a screen with tennis. I could do that at home.
Yeah.
And I've just spent absolutely ages queuing. And I don't think I got on the right foot with them, because I was trying to take in a blue plastic bag from a corner shop with 4 Stellas in it, which, Wimbledon, that really singles you out as having been to a comprehensive. If you know what I mean. When everyone else is in their best barber sort of like jackets and stuff like that, and they're gladly paying a tenner for a strawberry. And there was me, scum of the earth. trying to drink. Yeah, crisps as well. Tube of Pringles.
Tube of Pringles. Not even proper Pringles, like farm food Pringles as well.
Yeah, you love farm foods today, don't you? We are not sponsored by farm foods, nor is it.
But we should be.
We should be now.
Yeah,
that would be great.
Listening.
Hello, Britain's third best freezer place. Sponsor us. I've ranked you lower than Heron of Foods.
Wow.
Although Bradley Bush did do a advert for farm foods once upon a time. I'd even pronounce it to make it sound grander. Farm foods.
Yeah, farm foods.
It's clear to emphasise the farm to make us sound classy, Brad. No.
I was got a nosebleed like an hour and 45 minutes like into a queue at one of the queues at Alton Towers.
Who did you upset?
No, it's when. Well, actually, it did actually suck because I used to get regular nosebleeds because I got in a fight when I was younger and someone like broke my nose. So ever since then, I used to get like regular kind of nosebleeds. And I remember. Must have been in my mid-20s. It was at Alton Towers. I think one of the new rides had just opened up. So, when there's a new ride, like, the queues were even bigger for it. And I remember, like, we kind of avoided it all day, but we went, all right, it's the end of the day, like, the queue's gone down to 2.5 hours. Let's go on it. And I remember I was 2 hours into it. We'd gone all the way around, and I was near the front. And I was getting up to the bit, the bit where you get to the bit where people can choose to go to the front, they split the queues up. I don't know why you'd do this. Like you've been in this queue for 3 hours. I'm going to wait in a slower queue now just so I can sit at the front. Anyway, I was nearing that bit and like my nose exploded. I got a massive nosebleed from there. But because I'd been in this queue for 2.5 hours, I wanted to go on the ride still. I wanted to like commit. I'd been in that for so long. So I remember it was like a whole like team effort with everyone that was in the queue to pass me like tissues from about like 12 people back, so I could stick it out my nose and go on. On the ride, so that felt good from a community spirit kind of thing where all the queue kind of comes together to help each other out.
How did you feel after the ride, having lost a lot of blood?
It felt great, to be honest. Yeah, it felt great.
I say it'd go the one or two ways. You'd either get a real high from it, or pun not intended, or you'd be a bit sick.
Yeah.
Having, being friends with differently able comedians, I've found out thanks to the likes of say Graham Whistler and the other people saying that they treat their disabilities like a VIP.
Absolutely.
Section. Just saying, out of the way, I'm disabled.
Yeah.
And he said that you
I can imagine Graham doing.
If you keep going on the ride, you can lap people that are still waiting to get on, just to really wind them up.
Oh, that would be great.
George actually played the disabled card to jump the queue when we went to go.
He can't get on the rides with the height restrictions.
No. This was a couple of years ago. There was a play about Les Dawson,
right?
And it was on at the Edinburgh Festival, and it was John Culshaw playing Les Dawson. So being August in Edinburgh, it was pissing down. And we were queuing it outdoors. So I just went, I'm not really keen on this queue, mate. He went, wait there. He went off just to say, I'm disabled, he's my carer. And then I went, oh right, come with us. So they got us into the lift, and the woman that got us to the lift, she was obviously told to keep the secret of the VIP that's in the audience. Don't tell anyone. She broke that straight away because she was too excited, and she just went, Ian McKellen's in the audience. Like, right, okay. So they sat us down near the front, 2 rows in front of Ian McKellen.
Oh, nice.
Who was there with his friends. He bought some opera glasses with him so he could watch. So we just basically nudged each other going, psst, Gandalf's behind us. So that was, he can't get on rides because I was with him at the Brighton Fringe once and I was flicking the V's at him from a log flume. Which he
can't go on.
No, he can't go on. So I got a picture of him holding the teddy bear that I won for him at the Hook a Duck with the height restriction thing, looking really peed off. So if we're clipping that point, I will put the photo, superimpose it in front. So George, if you're listening to this, you shouldn't have dreams of Panto. You should be here defending yourself.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, anything else to add before we wrap up?
I think that's it.
That is everything. That is good. The sun is now set behind us. So the last time we did it was still getting dark at 7. So this feels weird. Although the sun's not in your eyes now. It's that really irritating winter sun where you can't see anything. Yeah. So we've learned everything about cues and more besides. Getting utensils as hands. The tip as well.
It's a good tip.
It's a good tip. It is a very good tip. Just the tip. There we go, that's the name of this episode, just the tip. Right, so thank you very much to our guest, Anthony Williams. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Ripple of applause, there we go, lovely stuff. And until the next time, see you then.